Hey everybody, so dispatches 2019, the St. Lawrence Loop, all wrapped up. We wrapped that up about a week and a half ago, and yeah, I've kind of been AWOL for a little bit, and I'll tell you a bit about that in an upcoming video. But for now, I just want to wrap up the ride itself, do a quick bit of a summary of it. So left the 5th of August, ran to the 15th, 11 days of riding, and all around the St. Lawrence Seaway. And I'll just give you the day by day. So yeah, left Quebec City on August 5th and spent 2 days on the Gaspé Peninsula. And wow, you know, I didn't do that last year on my ride. I kind of regret it because it was incredible. It's just scenery on scenery. It's absolutely amazing. And it's a busy spot though. If you are going, we spent 2 days on the Gaspé. You could easily make that 3 or 4 days in order to see everything. But yeah, absolutely incredible. Third day, made our way into New Brunswick. Had some troubles Thursday, or sorry, the third day. So Paul MacGregor, it's myself, Paul MacGregor, and Frank Moses were the 3 riders who were registered. And Paul's motorcycle, he had a Euro gear up, and the third day it pretty much died on the trail, and Paul had to leave the ride, which was something else I'm going to speak in more detail about in another video. But so yeah, the third day into New Brunswick, and we kind of ended up, we had to scrap our plan to drive down the coast, and had to get on the highway and make up some time. And that night in Charlottetown, PEI, we met up with the rolling Barrage. So really great to, I think we had about 40 riders or so the next morning when we left. But the Rolling Barrage founder and president of Military Mines Inc., Scott Casey, was there. Stu Jackson, who I served with in the Royal Canadian Regiment, and Rob Truscott, who is another member of Military Mines Inc., who was instrumental in helping me get dispatches going this year. So great to see all those guys, great to connect with everybody else who was on the ride. So we get to ride with them the fourth morning for a couple hours or an hour or so out to Confederation Bridge, and then Frank and I scooted ahead and shot a bit of video of them coming off the bridge on the other side. And you know, if you haven't seen it, there's a clip here. And so it's great to see our brothers and sisters there. They're carried on west. They're on their way to Fredericton, and we headed to Nova Scotia. And you know, the Sunrise Trail, I kind of spent a lot of time when I was a kid out that way. I love that ride. So basically took the Sunrise Trail all the way to Cape Breton Island, and then up the west coast of Cape Breton to the head of the Cabot Trail. The Cabot Trail itself, you know, people don't need me to tell them that's an awesome ride. We left at about 9 in the morning to do it, and you know, it was a Friday morning, and I'm going to tell you, there was almost nobody else on the trail. It was perfect. You know, we pretty much had it to ourselves. That may have led to violating the posted speed limit just a touch, but it was a damn good ride. So then got on the boat to Port aux Basques, and day 5 made our way up to Pasadena, Newfoundland. Now Pasadena was a special stop. A friend of mine, Morgan Simmons, who's the president of the Legion there, Branch 68 in Pasadena, opened the Legion for us that night. We stayed at his house with his wife Jackie, so it was nice to have a little bit of home. And then yeah, got to go to the Legion, meet up with people from every generation of veteran there, right from World War II onward, and yeah, just share a bit of camaraderie, have some fun, share some stories. And that was you know, an amazing stop. The next day, day 6, on through Gros Morne and up through up the west coast of Labrador, or sorry, Newfoundland. And if you've never done the west coast of Newfoundland, right from Port aux Basques right till the time you get on the boat in St. Barb, I've never been north of St. Barb, you're seeing mountains, you're seeing, like, it's mind-blowing. You know, you don't, and I'd forgotten too, I'd been there a couple years ago, but you know, we forget we have that on the East Coast, you know, and truly breathtaking. You get off the boat in Labrador, and you've got these boulder fields, you've got these massive hills and these open spaces that are just awe-inspiring. So, you know, the trip from Blanc Sablan to Port Hope Simpson was incredible. I encourage anybody to go on that ride. There's a reason I went back, you know, after being there last year. And last year I made mention of the fact of how much the sights impacted me, but this year was different. And all I can say is last year was my first adventure ride ever. I'd never done this, and I was still in that first couple of weeks, you know, experiencing all the growing pains and figuring things out, and definitely a deeper appreciation and more in tune with what was going on around me this trip. So yeah, the trip from Blanc Sablan to Port Hope Simpson is incredible. Port Hope Simpson to Goose Bay. Now last year this trip was about 400 kilometers of gravel road, and it is now down to, I was surprised, 200 kilometers. And that is awesome news for all you guys who ride cruisers and sport bikes and street bikes. For us adventure riders who like to get a little bit of gravel under us and like to avoid the crowds, not such great news. I fully expect that come next year, that whole stretch right up from the boat in Blanc Sablan to right to Labrador City or Fremont, Quebec, is going to be paved entirely. Now I will say it was beautiful brand new blacktop. It was a smooth ride, awesome. Just a little less time in the gravel than I would personally like. But Goose Bay was another special stop for us. 5-wing, so CFB Goose Bay, and the 5-wing, the wing commander and the wing chief took it upon themselves to greet us coming in. And I'll throw the picture up here. So some of the headquarters staff was there to greet us, and they put us up for the night at some incredible accommodations out at Alexander Lake. And you know, what an awesome way to end you know, a day of riding. And Warrant Officer Mansfield was our guide. He got us out there, and as you can see in the video here, he took us the scenic route to get there. And nothing like taking a fully loaded adventure bike and hitting some of these trails. And yeah, so thanks for you know, thanks for helping me test my riding skills and dust off some of the cobwebs there. Again, a great finish to the day, absolutely amazing. Next day from Goose Bay to Labrador City, it's a decent ride. Nothing particularly mind-bending on that one. And but the reception we got in Labrador City, holy shit. First off, Dan Denief put us in touch with his father, Bernie, who is a member of the Legion there in Wabush and affiliated with the Legion in Labrador City. And Bernie arranged for us to tour both of those and meet up with a couple of the members. And Bernie, thank you for that. We, you know, reconnecting the next generation of veterans with the Legion is something that that means a lot to me. It's something I think we all need to be put more effort to. So thank you, Bernie, for that. That's truly appreciated. But what was really cool was there's a guy there named Colin King. Now, Colin used to be in the Royal Canadian Regiment, and he was even in the same battalion as me at the same time, but we never crossed paths, and that happens. But Colin took us out, or put us up rather, in the hotel right when you come into Labrador City. And Colin owns the Pizza Delight and the Scores restaurant. So we got to spend the night, you know, talking with Colin, telling some war stories, you know, just kind of sharing in that fellowship. And, you know, he definitely fed us well the next day before he sent us on our way. And so yeah, the hospitality in Labrador City from Colin was absolutely amazing. And Colin's very keen on the idea of making a ride out that way, perhaps an annual event. And Colin, we're definitely going to be talking about that later, man, for sure. But thank you so much for that reception. Now we get to my favorite part of the entire ride. You know, Gaspé is awesome. The Cabot Trail, amazing. You know, But for me, that stretch from Labrador City to Baie-Comeau is my favorite part of the entire ride. And I'm going to tell you, there's from Fremont to Fire Lake, there's 67 kilometers of gravel road there that is just twisty, turning. It goes up, around, over everything. And you see in the video here, I had a friggin' blast. That, I was hooting and hollering the whole way. That was incredible. Again, you know, and I'm going to talk about this in a later video, but they're working hard to get that all paved and straightened up. So again, it's going to be good news for you cruiser guys, not so much for the adventure guys. But after you're done with that, you go to Manic Sank, and you see the clip there. Manic Sank is just this massive part of the James Bay Hydro project, and this massive dam, and I love it. I just, you never felt so small, you know, till you pull that bike up under that dam, and you're like, holy shit. But from Manic Sank to Baie-Comeau, and I know I said it before, just 200 kilometers of silky smooth blacktop that just winds its way through Quebec. And after being on the gravel and going through Labrador, you get onto this and you're just carving this thing up the whole way to Baie-Comeau, and it is just awesome. And you see a lot of bikes there, a lot of guys on sport bikes, a lot of guys on cruisers, and they come up, they'll make the 400 kilometer round trip just to ride that stretch of road. And there's a reason for it, because it is awesome. So final day, down along the St. Lawrence, cut up through Sacré-Cœur to Saguenay, and then down through the park to Quebec City. Nice, calm, easy day to finish out the ride. And yeah, so Frank and I finished Thursday the 15th. You know, so I want to thank everybody for following along. Thank you for your support. Thanks to Ryan Carey. Ryan gave an interview on my way out in Montreal, and you've seen part 1 and 2 have been posted already. Part 3 comes up this Thursday, and you'll see Ryan talking about his service and some of his struggles and post-traumatic growth and what he's doing now. There's also an interview with Frank Moses, one of the other riders, that'll be coming up in the next week or two. And yeah, and I've got a few other videos. So the purpose of the ride is, you know, there's the money, there's the raising money for Military Minds Inc. to support veterans initiatives. There is, veteran and first responder initiatives. There's the PTSD awareness, and not just reaching outward to the rest of the world, but also awareness within our communities, being the veteran and first responder communities, talking about things that help break down the stigma and get other people to talk. And that's a huge part of it, and that was, you know, definitely a success. But there's the challenge, the adventure, the camaraderie, and this ride gave us all of it. So definitely a huge success in all those regards. Now, next year, I will have an announcement coming up in the next few weeks about what's going to be happening in 2020, and I can't wait to share that with you, because it's pretty freaking exciting. But before I go, there's one other person I have to thank, and that is our sponsor. Well, actually, first, I'll tell you, we raised about $1,700 in cash donations, and our goal was $1,500. It was $500 per rider. So we broke that, and thank you to everybody who did donate. It is so very appreciated. But the bulk of that came from Bombshell Stella's, the food truck in Owen Sound. And Heather Morris, the owner of Bombshell Stella's, through her efforts raised well over 1,000 of the 1,700 that we took in. And in addition to that, she's also supported with about $1,400 worth of branding and promotion and just basic awareness. So, you know, thank you, Heather. This ride would not have been the success it was without you and without your team, Bombshell Stella's. And further to that, we have one more ride coming up. So we did do a pre-ride in July around the Bruce Peninsula called the Bomb the Bruce. We got a wrap-up ride that starts in Borden on September 14th. And we do a quick three-hour loop and back to Borden. So we start at Mission Cycle in Angus in the morning, and we end up at Bombshell Stella's once again, who'll be set up in base Borden. And that one's called the Blue Mountain Bomber, and there'll be a link down in the description. I'll ask you to go check it out. If you're in Owen Sound, stop by Bombshell Stella's, try the incredible food, and make sure you tell them thanks for their support. If because they're they're really dedicated to this cause. I could not believe the way Heather took to this, and the support that she has given me personally, and the support she's given fellow riders and Military Minds Inc. So thank you, Heather. We'll be seeing you on the 14th again. I hope we get lots of people to come out. I think we had 70 riders for Bomb the Bruce, so we're looking to bust 200 for Blue Mountain Bomber. And I know right now she's shaking her head because she's got to feed all these people, but come on, guys, 200. I want 200 riders for Blue Mountain Bomber. All right, so I'll leave you guys with that, and until next time, take care.